Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing fine this Monday. Hope you had a decent weekend still in the end. And if you're watching Ethereum right now, and if you're very active with Ethereum trading and holding, I would imagine that you're relatively happy right now because Ethereum, and we already saw this on Saturday morning, right after the crash. We already saw that Ethereum was potentially the best crypto that actually held up, right? So that actually had some buy side liquidity holding up the price. So that's why yesterday morning I was already relatively positive about a potential reclaim if we got some good news. I think yesterday, given the fact that the fundamental situation was still relatively unclear, which honestly at this point of time it still is, but we'll talk about that in a moment. I told you I think it's a little bit more likely we'll retest 3600 before we can get a reclaim of 3880 right here. But we got some good news, right? And good news was by far the thing we needed the most. We saw some easing of tensions by Vance and Trump, and some sort of just in general remarks made on the situation, and we got some very high volume. I mean, you can see the buying volume we had yesterday was the highest we've seen for Ethereum in a very long period of time. So it's real, right? I mean, you could say, oh, it's just a Sunday afternoon move. Those don't count. And to a certain extent, I do agree generally. But if there's so much volume with it, I tend to believe that. So we got a beautiful reclaim of 3900 right here. ETH BTC is also still looking, pretty good right here. I mean, as you can see, we're still on a downtrend on the daily time frame and the 12-hour time frame. So I wouldn't expect, a lot of outperformance from Ethereum against Bitcoin, but there's definitely opportunities here, and it's definitely going to be interesting to watch this and see if we can do something like this, right? Which would obviously be incredibly bullish, and then I think we can be very optimistic about Ethereum, even though at this point of time I already am fairly realistic. But okay, so what we have done is reclaim 3900. So far we've been able to rally into the 7-day and the 90-day running VWAP, and just in general that level around 4200, which is a relatively stacked resistance level, and also a relatively tested resistance level, as you can see right here. So it's quite it's normal that we found some resistance there. The thing is that even though I've been relatively optimistic about Ethereum, especially if you compare it to the rest of the market for the last weekend, right? I still think it's good to be relatively cautious here, because even though we saw an ease of tensions yesterday, which was good, right? It's definitely welcome. But ultimately, the situation is still the same. The situation is still that China has these export controls. The United States retaliated kind of with those tariffs. And now China says that they are going to have to put in new defensive measures. And both of them think they're defending, right? And if both of them think they're defending, if the other one actually defends, the other one sees it as offense. And it's just going to be back and forth with tariffs and other exports and other trade measures and other trade controls. And we're going to get into a trade war. So even though there was an ease of tensions, it's just words for now, not actions. And then we left an imbalance here to the downside. Monday historically is not the best day for Ethereum. The Asian session is usually also very good for Ethereum, and so far the Asian session has been quite quiet. So therefore I would say, and we're at a major resistance level as well, by the way, which counts for something. Therefore I would say that unless we get good news, right? If we get good news, we'll do something like this. But that is something I cannot predict. I can only tell you, if we get that, we can do this. But unless we do that, I would say it's more likely we will get some stability here, move up a little bit higher into 4300, some stability. But from there, I do still expect, or at least I think it's quite likely, we're going to pull back into 4000 and 3900 before we can get some more stability and a potential move up higher. So those are my thoughts. I think that's what you need to know given the current technical and fundamental circumstances. I hope it helps, but for now, thank you for watching, everybody. Take care and bye.